bottled and made his own wine for sale locally. We were out in the vineyard talking. Actually, we were listening. He was talking to the extension agent. And when they got done with their deliberations, you know, it kind of, the extension agent sort of introduced this weirdo standing around there. And we started, and he made it known that we wanted to learn about his business. And so he started telling us. And we said, well, you know, wait a minute, we want to keep this straight if we can. Could you put it on a timeline for us? You know, I've got about a late 50-some-odd-year-old vintner, and he's there in his gumboots and dungarees, and you know, you can tell by the hands that he's been pruning an awful lot of grapevines. And he looked a little bit confused, and one of our group picked up a stick, and he just drew a line in the earth right in front of us. He took the stick and he went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Said, those are months. So can you show us on this line when you do what? And, you know, the farmer took the stick. And, you know, he kind of said, here. Here we prune the vines because they're dormant. And this is the winter months and the waning winter months, and not much is happening, so we have to bring them back. And this is quite a complicated process because your fruit is produced by a second-year branch. And so we said, okay, what happens then? And he said, well, then, you know, the buds start coming and the little leaves come, and then we get the rain coming in, and that comes in about here like this. That comes in here, and this is rain, and this is growth. And here, and so during this period, we're getting the rain, the leaves are popping out of the buds, the little stems are starting to grow, and I have to tie them up because they've got these wires and things spread all along these wires. And so then, of course, we harvest down here. And we said, what else happens? Is there anything else? And the extension agent said something to him. And he said, oh yeah. He said, well, we spray. He said, we come in, he said, and when the buds start coming out and the little leaves are starting to pop out of the buds, we spray the vines. Like this. And said, okay, what about problems? What problems do you have with it? And he said, well, yeah, he said, we have some disease. Well, when does the disease come? And he puts it like this. And we said, oh. At this point, he stops and starts looking at what he's done. Now this is, so we remember, this is spraying. And this is disease. And he's looking at what he's done. What did he realize? Can you see what he realized? Well, make it longer. What is it?
He's spraying in advance of disease.
And the rains.
No, he's washing.
Got it. Got it. And so what did he decide to do? He actually decided to split it up. He said, I'm going to spray a little bit here, but I'm going to save the rest. And I'm going to spray that down here after the rains come. I really like this example because what happened was, well, he was teaching us about his business. He learned something. And that is the big thing about participatory approaches. Not teaching. It's not important for teaching. It's important for learning. And that goes in both directions. So what I was been thinking about was this. Yeah, this is a very good group. I actually put the can you spot what was wrong in bold, you know, so I can make sure I emphasized it. But this group is right on top of stuff. Excuse me just a moment. So, everyone, and I will include us in this statement, thinks they have a good understanding of their own situation, their environment, their community, the systems they employ at their work. Everybody feels that confidence. But when you ask someone to draw a map of their community, to timeline their operations, to rank or sort their business priorities, to create a Venn diagram of their relationships, the holes start to appear. We think we're used to disease appearing in his vineyards familiar, and it wasn't a threat. And so he hadn't even thought about changing his operation. No need to. We're the same. And we think we know all this stuff that's around us, but if we sit down and have to map it out, draw a map of our community, or Venn diagram our relationships, somebody else is going to turn to you and say, but hey, you forgot so-and-so. And that's what happens. And that's what happens with the advantage of using these participatory techniques. Now, to turn briefly to how I prefer to use participatory techniques, or how I did in my work, everyone is always talking, for one thing I'm going to say this, everybody's always talking about motivation. And as far as I'm concerned, they frequently get it wrong. You hear it all the time. We need to motivate our employees, our partners, our suppliers. You can't do that. To me, in my way of looking at it, this is my opinion only, motivation is something that comes from within. I cannot motivate another person to do anything. But what I may have the power to do is to alter conditions and the situation which will allow them or induce them to motivate themselves. That's the type of thing I can do, and that's what I have to look for. But we can't do that unless we understand the situations. And this is how I like to employ the various participatory techniques. And here I believe timing is critical. I want to engage